Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Unprofessional Entrepreneur. This week I am doing something that I said I would never do, and that is re-recording an old podcast episode. So the second episode I ever recorded on this show, when it was first Felly's Fishbowl and it launched November 2022, was the episode called What is a Content Repurposing Agency? And I have considered deleting this episode on multiple occasions because since I have recorded that episode, so much has changed about FDStudio, including its name. I used to be FDStudio VA, and now I am FDStudio or FDStudio because secret for all of you, I do want to sell my agency in the future, so I wanted to remove myself from the name, hence FDStudio. Anyways, I recorded that episode back when we were doing set packages. We had content repurposing and video repurposing. I think we had a team of 4, me as a content strategist, a content writer, a video editor, and a project manager. And it's just nothing at all like we are right now. Now we have a framework in place. Now we have the remix and we have Repurposing Unlimited. My team is only a content writer and a video editor. Like, so much has changed. So I wanted to restart the episode of what is a content repurposing agency so I can give you an insider peek into FDStudio, FDStudio, and where we are now. So, to start, what is a content repurposing agency? Well, we're an agency that only does repurposing content. We will repurpose your content from any form into any form through any form, basically. I don't believe that content needs to be long form to short form or short form to long form. I believe it can go in either direction, and that's what we help our clients with. I am a big believer that everybody has a core type of content they like to create, meaning that you have a type of content you like to create the most. For me, it's my podcast. And from there, we will repurpose everything else. So we actually have 2 very specific type of people that work the best with FDStudio and especially Repurposing Unlimited, and that is the passionate producer and the established entrepreneur. So the passionate producer is that person, like I said, who has their core content down. All they want to do is create that core content, whether that's a podcast, a YouTube channel, going live. It could be a email newsletter even. There's no limit to what your core content is, but the passionate producer only wants to create that core content and understands the value and the necessity of being on other platforms, but doesn't want to do it themselves. So that's where we come in, that we will repurpose that main core content, whether it's that you're scheduling 4 out in advance or we're going back through old ones like the month before to create the rest of your content, whether that's blogs, emails, social media captions, what have you. We will create everything beyond your main piece of content for you so that you only have to create that one thing and get to stay passionate about it. The other type of client that we work really well with is the established entrepreneur. And this is someone who has been in the game for 2, 3 or more years, and they have a vault of content just sitting, waiting to be repurposed, but they don't want to do it. And you know that you're bottlenecking your team, yourself, from being more efficient in your marketing because you don't want to create the content and you don't want to spend the time going through the content to be able to give it to someone else to show them, like, these are the best points to create and this is what needs to be changed. This is where my messaging has changed. This is where my direction has changed. So maybe the offer's changed, right? And so the established entrepreneur will either choose between Repurposing Unlimited or the remix based on if they have a team in place, essentially. So let's get into my offers. Our offers, we have 2 offers. Repurposing Unlimited, which is a done-for-you service. You get 10 hours of repurposed content per month from us, meaning you can give us 3 to 5 podcasts, 3 to 5 YouTube videos, 10 to 12 Instagram carousels, Instagram captions, LinkedIn posts, what have you. And we will spend 10 hours turning that content into anything you've requested of us. We could write blog posts, we could write more social media captions, we could create videos, whether that's with B-roll or stock video, or cutting up your YouTube or video podcast into short form talking head videos. We will do whatever you want with your content, following your personal strategy, your intentions for the platforms you're showing up on, and your messaging to create the best content we can, following your tone of voice, your words, your brand direction, all of it. I think repurposed content is the best content because it's your voice still. It's not us deciding, oh, this is like really good, you should say this. It's like, no, like you've said it and we're going to repeat it again and again and again in different ways, but so that your message continues to spread on all the platforms consistently. So that's Repurposing Unlimited. It is a 3-month minimum. So to start, it is either $3,000 upfront or $1,000 a month, depending on how you want to pay for it. And that is working with me and my team. You get automatically added to Slack, and you get a very, very in-depth onboarding form sent to you the second we start. Content is due to us on the 1st of the month and delivered to you on the 15th of the month. On the 15th of the month, once content is delivered to you, you have 72 business hours to provide us with revisions before we mark it as complete and update your Airtable base, where we store all the content for easy tracking for you, so that you can see where it is, so that you can either assign it to your team to schedule or save it for yourself for future, whatever you decide to do with your content. Yes. And so the other side of this coin is the remix, which is where the established entrepreneur that already has a team that can create content for them, but doesn't have the skill of a content repurposer to go through and pull out the gems from the content. And you want to make sure that when you're giving someone 10 pieces of content, they're providing you with actual, like, hard hitting, the best pieces of content that could be pulled from the original, right? So the remix is where you send us 10 links to your existing content, whether that's podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, interviews, social media captions, website pages, anything you have, and we'll send you 100 custom content ideas. These 100 custom content ideas are yours to do with as you please. You can give them to your team member to create. You can create them yourself. You can filter based on the offer, the call to action, the platform, the type of content. So if you want to go through and batch things, like if you want to create all the reels at once, you want to create all the carousels or emails at once, or if you want to create all the content for Instagram at once, or if you want to, it's your choice. The world is your oyster, right? But we are going to give you 100 custom content ideas with a hook, prompts that talk you through like what we're thinking when we say that hook. Say like, this episode is what is a content repurposing agency. So a piece of content I could pull from this episode would be the 2 types of business owners that FDStudio works best with. And from there, the prompts that I would put would be like, list the 2 types, give summarized explanations of who those types are and which offer is for them based on that, right? And so that could be a carousel post very easily. And so that's how that whole Airtable base will be laid out for you in the remix. Is there'll be 100 ideas, and you can click into each idea and it'll have these prompts of like what to write about based on the hook we gave you. And then we'll also have whether we think it would be best for a reel or a carousel or a caption, whether the intention of that post is to sell, to generate leads, to nurture, to educate, and the original piece of content it was taken from. And I think that's it. We also tend to include like suggested calls to action based off of the intentions you gave us in your onboarding form. So a big part of our process, and something that I'm not going to get into in this episode, is our framework sepia content content, platforms, intentions, and angles. And that is exactly what we follow in the remix. If you want to learn more about the Sepia framework and how to DIY your own content, you can check out our private podcast, which I will link in the show notes for you to download and consume, so that you can repurpose your own content or hand it to your team. But that's the remix. That's how we go about the remix. You give us 10 links, we give you 100 ideas. You can create the most bomb-ass content you've ever created in your life from the ideas that we send you. And it is $500 one time. If you're interested in quarterly remixes, send me a message and we can talk. We tend to do 3 for the price of 4, and this would have you like done for the year basically, because you would be getting 100 pieces of content mapped out for you every 3 months so that you could be posting 90 times a month on 3 platforms or more. Like, the world's your oyster when it comes to FDStudio services. So like Repurposing Unlimited, there are 2 types of people that are ideal for the remix, and that is the established entrepreneur, which we already went over, and the other is the resourceful solopreneur. And the resourceful solopreneur is someone who doesn't have a team. They're probably still doing it scrappy, but they know how to outsource the parts of their process and strategy that are the most time consuming, that take the most brain space. And one of those things are content repurposing or idea generation. So this person is going to come in and they have a ton of content created. They know who their audience is. They know what their audience gets excited about, but they're not ready to hire a full team. They're not ready to hire someone to take over their content creation. They're very happy to create their content, but they also don't have the brain space or the time to sit down and be mapping out, going through, consuming their old content in order to pull out the gems necessary to repurpose. And for a lot of people, it's not a matter of time when it comes to consuming your old content, but it is a very quick trigger to imposter syndrome, to second guessing yourself and like not feeling good about the content. Like, a lot of people will consume their old content and start to think like, this content's shit. I can't use this. No one will listen to it. Where like, if you give me the content, I'm not going to question whether it's good or not. I'm going to straight look for the gems in it because I'm removed from it. I don't have the emotional attachment to it that you do. So me and my team can consume your old content without those blocks that you will run into. And that's where the remix partners perfectly with the solopreneurs. As of right now, since we launched in October, we've done 6 remixes, and I want to say it's like 50-50 between the established entrepreneur and the resourceful solopreneur who has booked this service, because it really does suit both of their needs almost on an equal footing. But that's our ideal clients. Those are our services. The remix is $500. I think I already said that. I will link the services page below so that you can check out our offers for yourself, see our sales pages, and get to understand us better. If you have any questions, of course, my DMs are open. I have no problem with getting on a no pressure discovery call to talk to you about your repurposing needs, about your thoughts around repurposing. But I did want to add this in at the end of this video because it is something that I am very proud of and very happy about. And that is that one of our core values at FDStudio, me as a human as well, is flexibility. That's why we don't have set deliverables with are done for you. That's why the remix is open to any type of content you want to send us, to any type of content you want us to help you create. I value flexibility almost above everything else in my life. Like, I don't like to feel constricted and stuck. I'm not claustrophobic, but I feel like too strict of rules makes me feel what claustrophobia would be. Do you know? Like the walls are pressing in. Anyways, and on the note of flexibility and loving flexibility, I have been playing around with, in Q1 of 2024, whenever you're listening to this, being open to being pitched. If you have an idea in mind of what you would like to have repurposed, of something that you need to have repurposed, of deliverables that you would like to have based on what you already have, my DMs are open to being pitched to your project. And I currently have 2 proposals out for pitch projects, both being B-roll projects. So this is people who have a shit ton of content and know that they want to be sharing video consistently but don't want to be creating the video. So they are going to send us a library of content alongside a library of B-roll, and we're going to take the best hooks from it and create a bunch of B-roll video for Instagram, for YouTube, for Pinterest, depending on the platform they've chosen. And you can choose or not choose to have captions attached. Yeah, and that's a project that I'm really excited for. Well, 2 projects that I'm really excited for. If it's something that interests you, you're welcome to pitch me and we can talk about like how many videos you'd want. Do you want captions or not? Do you want help choosing audio or not? And we'll go from there on your custom project. It doesn't have to be B-roll, of course. It doesn't have to be short form videos. It could be emails, it could be blog posts, it could be whatever. But I am very open to being pitched projects beyond just the parameters of Repurposing Unlimited for our Done For You services. And that is all I have to say to you about FDStudio and what we're all about and what we do as a content repurposing agency. I hope it was enlightening to you. I hope that you join our email list by signing up for our private podcast to learn more about our signature framework, because I do believe that our framework is the best framework when it comes to repurposing and that nobody else holds a candle to it. But that's where I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will catch you all next week on another episode of The Unprofessional Entrepreneur. And as always, don't forget to stay unprofessional.